Welcome back to Don't Wait, Automate, my automation fanatics. Today, we are going to be talking with Aditya, Kumar, the Technical Sales Associate from Omron, and we're going to go through everything E3AS-HL, and we're going to be diving into the features and also the local wins. Let's go. Why don't you introduce yourself and kind of explain your role?
Sure. So my name is Aditya Kumar, and my title within Omron is a Technical Sales Associate.
What we're going to discuss is the E3AS-HL.
The E3AS-HL specifically brings, I think the line beam version is something that you won't find in other competitors. And this sensor is the ability to really, have a range of different surfaces and finishes that it could reliably sense.
Some of the biggest things too is obviously there's an upgrade with this because you have a huge, nice display. The display is extremely crisp and very intuitive.
Glad you think so, yeah. And that's, I think, in person, when customers are able to see it, that's really where it jumps out. Our main competitors, they have the display as well. Their display though is, it's more so of that kind of 7-segment display that you a lot of the time see on like standard like calculators and stuff like that, where you have to basically, you have to work with what you got in terms of the way that the digits show up on the screen. With this display, first off, it's an OLED display. It's very high contrast, super clear, super sharp. But it also, it shows you actual words. It shows you the ability to go through a menu and not have to struggle over what it is that's abbreviated on your screen. Like, you have everything completely written out for you. You take any type of surface that might ordinarily be a little bit too uneven or grooved, or something that a normal spot beam could be thrown off by. A customer was using a competitor that had only the spot beam option, and that inconsistency in the wood surface was throwing it off quite a bit.
With the wood, just quickly to go back, was the reason why it was reading the wood, but it wasn't being as accurate in terms of its displacement, because was it like slivers of wood, or
the sensor that they were using was sensitive to pick up those kind of deviations. Exactly. But that's not what it
did its job. It caught everything. It didn't need to ignore a few things, which is what we were trying to do.
From a user's point of view, like the amount of times that happens, you got to go back to the center. You got to reset the background probably. So it's a lot of it's a lot of effort that could possibly be alleviated by having a line beam version. But this is also capable of doing clear object detection.
Yes. I've tested that myself.
Electronic products, that film that they put in the battery slot that you have to pull out before you use it, detect those against a clear or a white background. This very, very clear piece of film, we set a white background against it, and it was picking it up every time we passed it through.
And triangulation, again, I think is a really good winner on that too, because like you said, the line, it's hitting multiple pixels when it's being reflected back, so it can look at those outliers and kind of say, well, these might be erroneous. Let's stick to the other base.
Absolutely. The advantage of CMOS in this sensor is the ability to really, have a range of different surfaces and finishes that it could reliably sense.
One thing too, as I was looking at the brochure, one of the biggest things that I saw was that it's Ecolab, right? So these things are caustic and acid ready. It sounds like even with these hard, durable bodies.
Yep, all that detergent resistance with the Ecolab certification. But this lens is really neat. The product manager likes to describe it as like a Rain-X for sensors. A coating on the sensor itself, but that's an anti-fouling lens. And you can also find that same lens on the other E3AS family sensors that we have. With this display, first off, it's an OLED display. It's very high contrast, and it's just a really, really easy piece of technology to navigate. Some really good parts about it that differentiate it from our competitors, to kind of sense it at a larger angle than you do from some of our competitors, so that could be helpful.
So if you're at a surface, we're talking, we can be
55 degrees.
That's great if there's a lot of fixturing constraints, or if there's not a lot of real estate, right?
Exactly.
Well, that's a wrap. A special thanks to Adi. Really appreciate your time, and thanks for describing and telling us all the local wins and great features of the new E3AS-HL. And there's always more to talk about. But until then, see you later.